Okay, welcome back to the stop motion series. This is video 4 where we're going to tackle actually filming a stop motion. We've already covered a few of these topics already. If you've missed them, check out the previous videos. And now to talk about actually filming it. So before we start filming, you need to decide if you're going to be filming your stop motion using still images or video. So both of them are valid options, but let's look at the pros and cons of each one. So shooting still images is the standard way of doing stop motion. It's usually how you do it because there's lots of benefits of using still images. First one is it's a lot easier for the camera to record a still image, which means you can get much higher resolutions. So if your video camera can only do full HD, your stills camera can do much higher resolutions than that, at least double that. Another benefit of using still images is you have a much more efficient file size. When you're taking a photo of the frame that you want. When you're recording video, you're just hitting record and it's constantly capturing more and more images, because that's what video is. It's about 25 images every second. So when you hit record on a video camera, you're recording a lot more wasted images. So you can end up with very large file sizes for video, and you're going to have to sift through a lot of video. So of course that means editing stills is a lot easier just because you just put each still one after the other, and that's kind of all you really have to do. Whereas with editing video, you're going to have to go in and do a lot of editing. Now this is a little bit of an advanced option, but you have the option with stills to go with slower shutter speeds, and it's also easier to use raw image files. Now the benefits of video though, and the reason it's worth even mentioning, is because it can capture really easily hard to capture moments. So if, for instance, you had a subject that was jumping up in the air and you needed to capture the moment of the highest point, you could easily capture that with video by just hitting record. Whereas with still images, it's a little bit harder because you're going to have to take a photo at the exact right second. And you can still achieve this using fast shutter modes, but video is much simpler to capture. And we also have a slightly easier filming process, of course. You just hit record and leave it. But I don't think that's necessarily worth the edit work that you're going to have to do later. And with those options in mind, you get to choose now if you want to be filming in stills or video. I'll be going through both. So let's start with the stills process. Of course, you would storyboard, maybe make a timing sheet and plan your shot in your story a lot better. But I'm going to just quickly do a couple of quick exercise examples. Okay, so over here's my setup. I wanted to do the most DIY type setup to show you that you don't need any special equipment for this. So over here I've got my Risk board set up, which I'm going to be animating. And over here at the top you could see that I've got my camera phone just set up on a cardboard box that's set up on 2 chairs. That's all. It's the most basic setup I could possibly think of. And of course it cost me nothing because I already have a phone. The lighting wasn't great. I had to move around these chairs around to find like a spot where the lighting wasn't casting harsh shadows. And then I set up a light next to it, as you can see right over here, and that's just adding some illumination. Ideally I would have a couple more lights maybe, and maybe some softer light or something, but I actually was okay with the dark, harsh lighting because I was depicting war, and I thought some harsh lighting with harsh shadows would actually work quite well for this. So the plan was to just move some pieces around and animate it. Now I should have planned this a little bit better with a story and maybe some storyboards so that I knew where to move the pieces with maybe timing sheets so I can get a rough idea of how many seconds I need to have for each one, how many photos I need to take for each one. But this was my setup. And over here you can see me in action actually recording my stop motion. So what I've been doing was moving a piece, a small piece here, small piece here, small piece there, etc. And then taking a photo, just pressing one button and making sure not to move my camera phone at all. So I was giving it a very light touch. And of course I've already set all the camera settings to manual so that it doesn't constantly adjust the lighting. Now when I'm moving these pieces, you have to take care not to move them too much. You just want to do very small movements, and don't get impatient. This is the kind of thing that you need to really just take your time with, or else it'll look rushed and it'll look kind of glitchy if you slowed it down more than it's supposed to be. And this, of course, is why you might need timing sheets to let you know how many shots you should be taking. Because don't forget, you should be taking about, ideally, of course, 25 frames a second. But if you want to make things easier for you, you could do it on twos and maybe do 12 frames a second. And if you're doing 12 frames a second, it's still quite a lot of photos that you need to do for just 1 second of animation. So just make sure that you don't move things too fast. Now you'll see here one issue is I accidentally bumped the board there, right there. Now this is something you want to be also careful not to do. When we're editing this, I will try to give it a little bit of a tweak and see if I can fix this up. But ideally, of course, you would not do this. This is where having a professional setup with an app or a computer screen that shows you what your previous image was overlaid can really help out. You can kind of just trace your positioning and make sure things aren't too offset. And now I'll do a quick video demonstration to show you why you might want to use video. So here in this video, what I'm trying to do is make a little video of me flying. So what I'm doing is I'm recording video, jumping up, and then moving a little bit, jumping up, moving a little bit, jumping up. And the plan is to delete all the frames where I'm not in the air, and so it makes it look like I'm constantly flying. Now taking a photo of myself while I'm in the air would be very difficult, whereas with just recording video, it's pretty easy. And that's why you might want to use video sometimes. So that's how you film a stop motion. So the next video will be us discussing how to edit it.